Is it working?
Yep. Yep. Welcome all.
Check. Oh, I had my volume down. Hey, you can hear us. Sweet. Hi, Emma, by the way. We'll get
How's it going, Emma?
we'll get started in just 1 second. Oh my gosh. Okay. I took the other headphones out because can't do with that delay. Um okay. Honestly, let's just get started. What do you think, Snippy?
Yeah, I think so.
Switch over scenes here. Um and hello everyone. How's it going? Um Hi Emma. For those in here, my name is Tiwanku. My real name is Nick, but I go by Tiwanku online. Um, I am uh, I guess, I don't know. I wear a couple different hats. Artist, but I love technology and I love sharing knowledge. So that's why I'm here today to show you guys some exciting stuff. And yeah, Snippy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, I'm Mr. Snippy. Real name's Andrew. I won't have my camera on since we're just streaming Nick's desktop today, but I will probably make an appearance in another stream later on. I also wear a few hats, a little bit on the tech side, a little bit on the audio side, a little bit on the video side, and Nick and I have been doing some fun stuff in Touch Designer, and love to show you some things we learned along the way.
Cool, nice. And for anybody in here who's coming here from outside of Control AV, I just wanted to talk just for a second before we jump in about Control AV as a whole. I found this wonderful group of people from Justin who founded it, but it's kind of like a community owned Twitch channel. So we're streaming to it today. The thought is that artists and technologists of all kinds can collaborate and can use this as a platform to either stream performances or tutorials or things like this as well. So highly recommend checking out or following this Twitch channel if that's something that interests you. Also get in touch. Um, Emma in the chat is a member as well. You can get in touch with her. Get a part of the Discord, which is where a lot of our collaboration communication has been happening. Um, um, or just pop by when their stream's happening. So yeah, just wanted to just let people know that that was a thing real quick. And yeah, so without further ado, I want to talk about Touch Designer a little bit. We're going to so what I have in front of me is just a network that I built a little bit ago, and I kind of used as a little like a promotional piece that you might have seen on Instagram if you came here from there. Um, just to kind of show, a glimpse at kind of the sort of thing that's possible. We're gonna create um, simple um, a simple version of this network. Um, and we're gonna go through it together so that I'll explain every aspect of it and kind of why I think Touch Designer is so intuitive, even for like non-technical people, and how it's so powerful in that way. Even if you don't know how to code or anything, and then I'm going to hand it off to Snippy, who is going to give us an awesome demonstration of a technique that he himself developed for a different project we've been working on together. That is like a really awesome modular way of incorporating Python code into this environment. Um, so yeah, so feel free to ask questions or like anything in the chat, any sort of feedback or any sort of questions if you don't understand anything. I'm keeping an eye on it. Um, so yeah, feel free to do that. And um, without further ado, let's jump into it. So I'm going to create a brand new project here. Um, so you'll see what Touch Designer looks like um, at its core. This is a free software. I want to emphasize that. Like the version that I'm using is completely free. It has all of the main functions of Touch Designer. You can do almost anything that you can do in the regular version. I think the only real limitation is that it's limited to 1280p resolution. So meaning 1280 on the long side, not on like the short side. So max 1280 by 1280, which is like, it is a restriction if you're trying to do really high fidelity client kind of facing work. But I've found it to be just not a huge deal as I've been learning and whatnot. So so the biggest thing that I want to emphasize is that Touch Designer is a node-based environment, meaning there are these things called nodes, and each of these nodes does something basically. Um, and the nodes are separated into different categories. What we're going to do is we're going to create a simple version of a network that uses all of these different types of nodes in it, so we can kind of understand what the differences are. It's kind of a funny naming convention. Each of the nodes is called operators in Touch Designer speak. Um, and they're separated into these different categories here of comps, tops, chops, sops, mats, and dats. So kind of like all one syllable, really easy to kind of like to kind of remember once you kind of understand what they are. So we're gonna start off with sops. And so what I'm gonna do is just very simply drag a circle sop onto the canvas here. And now there's my circle, right? Here's my circle operator. It is a uh, SOP, which stands for, I think, surface operator or solid operator. I don't remember right now what exactly it is. But what that means is that this is a circle, but it's also a three-dimensional, like it's a circle that exists in three-dimensional space. So I can actually drag this around and I can see that this circle is in three-dimensional space, and that is helpful for when we want to create any sort of effects that have this kind of 3D feel to it, um, which you'll see in just a minute here. Um, but we can't necessarily do anything with this circle yet. This is not like a rendered circle. This is just geometry. So if we want to set up uh, a very simple render network to be able to say, okay, I want to render this circle as a circle in pixels so that I can send that out to either a projector or a live stream or anything like that, then I can just attach this circle to a geometry comp, um, which is a one of these like built-in components of Touch Designer that kind of allow you to do um, so all I'm doing is turning this into a geometry, which I can then render using, and you can even think about when you're putting it into a geo is like putting it into physical space, where then it'll actually be impacted by things like cameras, things like lights. And so we're gonna do that real quick. So all we're gonna do is to double click on the screen, add a light, or add a camera first, let's say, and then here's our camera, and then we'll add a light. Um, this is actually probably the most complicated part of the whole thing too, by the way. Um, um, so and then we're gonna add a material. These are like and we'll add a material. So these are the basically all of the things that you need in order to render a 3D object is a camera, a light, geometry, and then a material of some kind. And it's very, very intuitive. I mean, honestly, when I was learning this, I was like, oh my God, like it's just if I want this material to apply to this geometry, then I can either go to the render tab here and I can just literally drag the material into that. And then all of a sudden it applied this line material to this circle, which just displays the line of the outside of the circle. Um, uh, and then uh, And then once I do that, then all I need to do is add a top, which is our next set of operators we're going to talk about. Tops are texture operators, meaning they operate in 2D space, in pixels, right? Like these are the operators that would most effectively um, compare to a tool like Photoshop, for example. It's all pixel based. So, um, so with this being said and done, we got our circle going, right? We have this 3D circle that is going into this render network, which is then rendering out a circle in pixels. Um, and so we could leave it at that, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more to this just to make it look a little bit more visually interesting. And I'll show about some of the other types of operators and how they work. Um, so what I'm going to do is, and this is how I tend to do it, is I will put a null operator on here and then stretch that all the way out, meaning I know that this is going to be like the very end of my chain. This is the thing that's going to be going to my projector or my stream for my performance. And so I have all this space to work with here, and I can add operators in the middle. As well. So let me so before we do anything to that, let's talk about our last type of operator, which is the chop, which stands for channel operator. They're these green ones. And everything's like super awesome color coordinated too, so that uh hello creature creator. How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. We're just giving a quick introduction to Touch Designer, which is a wonderful software, and I hope that y'all will see the see the wonderfulness about it. So 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 chops, as opposed to sops, which are the solid operators, and then tops, which are the pixel operators, texture operators. Chops are everything that includes any sort of data, any sort of numbers, right? That you would want to, like if you want to modulate parameters, for example, you use chops. If you want to send audio through this program, you would use chops. Um, and what we're going to do right now is we're going to add what I hope some people in here will be familiar with, which is an LFO, which stands for low frequency oscillator. You can see that once I add, it's just a number that's swinging back and forth. Um, um, Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some motion. Use this LFO to add some motion to our circle, so it's not just like it's not so boring and just sitting there. So in order to do that, all I need to do is take this LFO that I just created and literally drag it onto a parameter of this. Um, and actually, what I'm going to do is to make this a little bit more effective. What I'm going to do is add a transform SOP here, um, in between the circle SOP and the geo. So this is what's creating the circle, and then here's a transform SOP, which is just going to be actually making that transformation. So what I'm going to do is just drag this onto the rotate parameter of this, and then all of a sudden you can see, let me turn this on so you can kind of see in the background what I'm doing here. And now you can all of a sudden see that circle start to very slightly move, right? Um, um, and so if I want that move to be more pronounced, then we run into a little bit of a Bruce Lane '06. Hello. Hello, Bruce Lane. Lovely to see you. Not sure if we've met before. If we have, I apologize, but it's nice to meet you. I am Tiwanku, and we are talking about Touch Designer exactly. Um, if anybody has any questions or anything about what I'm saying, please don't hesitate um, to ask. Um, you see, we ran into a little bit of a problem here. Because if I wanted to do something else to this LFO, like let's say that I wanted to add this LFO to another LFO, then right now, because it's the actual output of the LFO that's triggering this transform, we're actually not it doesn't allow us to really do that. So a really awesome way of getting around that is to add a null to the end of the chain here. Do the same exact thing that we did with the tops, just leaving room in the middle for to make some sort of things happen, and then attach that to the rotate instead. And so now what I can do is add a math, which is simply it's a very effective chop. All it does is simply just perform mathematical operations on um, whatever channels you're including. And if I just change this from 1 to 10, it's going to multiply every instant. If I pause this here, you'll see this 9.945, and if I pause it somewhere else, negative 2.079. Um, it will when once I add 10 and wait, yeah, I already did. So yeah, 8.09. You see it's all multiplied by 10. It was going from negative 1 to 1 before, now it's going from negative 10 to 10, and now you can see the circle rotating more effective or more like prominently. Um but what if I wanted to fully, like, not to rotate back and forth like that, but I wanted to fully turn like around? Well, then what I can do is instead of having a sine wave LFO, I can use a ramp LFO. Um, and you see it's going from 0 to 1 now and 0 to 10 on this side. But instead of that, what if I multiplied this by 360? So that it's taking this LFO and mapping it from 0 to 1 to 0 to 360 degrees, which is then what is uh what is transforming this. So I can like turn the frequency down to make this look a little bit less yeah, a little bit smoother like that. And now I have this moving circle. All of a sudden we have something that is not only a little bit more interesting to look at than what we had before, but I think one of the most powerful things about this is that it's getting rendered in real time. Um, there is no um, there is no need to, like, once you're finished with your network, to have to spend, I don't know if there are any like After Effects people in the chat, or anything like that, but there's no need to actually spend hours. Hey, what's up, old Greg? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, man. um um there's no need to actually render anything because it's literally getting rendered in real time. I can take this and send it directly to my performance, and I can actually start to do things where I can send audio into Touch Designer, for example, and have the audio have this visual react to the audio and have that all happen in real time without ever needing to re-render or anything like that. I think that's, the really powerful about real-time engines like this. And so I'm just going to do a couple of more things. We talked about the main operator types. SOPs, chops, and tops, right? Where this is a simple render network that's using all three. Um, and so what I'm going to do is just do a couple of more tops just to show you what they can do, and then we will get to the exciting stuff, which is the Twitch chat integration that we have. So make sure to stick around for that if you can. So um, I'm gonna add this RGB key, which basically just puts what I have on a black background as opposed to a transparent one. And then everything that we're doing from now on is all pixel based. It's all taking this flat image of the circle that's moving and it's transforming that. So take this feedback top. If we want it to look kind of like, let's say we want it to look a little bit more like to have it have a trail behind the circle. What I can do is I can take a feedback chop and then comp it back in. So I'm using a composite, which takes multiple different tops and puts them into one. I can do that. You can see it kind of like it does this weird thing, and that's because it is on operation multiply. If I do add, then you'll see it'll start to turn white pretty immediately. Here we go. Oh, yep, and then I need to actually drag the yeah. So you can see that this is starting to, and then pretty soon this is going to be like a solid white circle, which we don't necessarily want. So one thing that I can do within this feedback network that's happening is add a level, which will then and then just turn the opacity down a little. Opacity being the level of brightness, basically, from like the alpha pixel, meaning 0 is transparent, 1 is completely opaque. And so yeah, so now we have this like nice cool little rotating circle, and it's got a nice effect on it now. That is all pixel based. So is it a sphere or a oh he came late to class. It's a good question. It's a good question, old Greg. Thank you for asking that. So we're actually using a 3D circle. I can actually demonstrate that by like using this and actually dragging around here to be able to show that in fact this is in 3D space. There is a circle top to compare. I can drag a circle top onto here, and this is also a circle, but this is a circle in pixels, as opposed to a circle in 3D space. Um, it's cool that Touch Designer has both. It has the ability to handle both. And there are different use cases in which you would need to use either in whatever project you happen to be. So so, good question, Greg. Thank you for asking that. One of the other cool things that I just want to emphasize before we hand it over to Snippy is that once I have this network set up, I think that this is a really powerful part of it, because once I have this network set up, I can take a I can make modifications to it, and you'll see the changes instantly, and also instantly rendered in real time and all the rest. So if I wanted to create if I wanted this to not be a circle, but if I wanted it to be a box instead, um, then all I would need to do is drag a box top on or a SOP onto the canvas here, and you can see it's a box, and then just replace this wire. All I need to do, I'll do it this way. If I disconnect this and then I just connect this to where that was, then all of a sudden you see that it's a box that is doing the same thing that the circle just was. So all the rest of the network stays intact, and it's just an incredibly easy way to make pretty complex changes. That if you were doing this sort of thing in After Effects, let's say, and you wanted to you get most of the way through the project, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't want a circle, I actually want a box. That might take a lot more time to make that change. So um, um, in that way, I think Touch Designer is very special and very modular, very intuitive for anyone, whether you're technical or not. So I hope that. Is there a blind mode? Oh, Steven, hi. Good to see you, man. Is there a blind mode where you can edit something that isn't in the live render and then push to live when it's ready? Yes, there is actually. So yes, the answer to your question is yes. There's a lot of different ways to uh, possibly a different Steven. Creature creator, is your name Steven as well? um there we go. I'm I'm sure your ears perked up when I said Steven. um, yeah, no, yep. Uh, but yes. So if I wanted to, for example, if I wanted to set up a whole network with this circle in it, and then have it like switch to on the fly rather than needing to do it manually, then I can add what's called a switch, and then I can put this into the switch, and you'll see that nothing happened, right? I can make whatever changes I want to this network. Um, um, Hairway to Steven. We're full of Stevens in the chat today. Um, uh, I can make whatever changes I want to this network, and then I can have a trigger. Let's say that trigger comes from a MIDI controller. Let's say that trigger comes from it's audio reactive. Let's say that the trigger comes from Twitch chat. You can make that trigger to be anything. But if I wanted to not actually repatch anything, but actually like take a prepared piece and change it on the fly, then I would need to do is change this value from 0 to 1, and I can do that with anything, and all of a sudden it's my new network. Um, Emma, your cat's name is Steven? Should I change my name to Steven now? I feel like that's what all the cool people are doing nowadays. So yeah, this is so this is all I really wanted to cover. There's a lot more that I could get into, but I want to hand it over to my co-presenter today. We're working on some projects, like some other projects, and we're using this software a lot, and we're coming up with some interesting ways of integrating Twitch chat, which will allow you guys to actually interact with us rather than just needing to listen to me drone on. So, so you wanna take it away, Snippy?
Yeah. How's it going, guys? My name is Mr. Snippy, but I think I'm going to change it to Mr. Steven with the current cultural trend that's going on here.
Oh, just one
Yeah.
gram. Another Steven. What's up?
Yeah, you guys can call me Snippy or Andrew, whatever's good with you. Um, so thanks for handing it off, Nick. That was really good. So we're gonna go to a pre-created touch designer file that we made. Pretty similar in nature. The network here with the circle in the tops is, fundamentally the same as the one that Nick just created. But this one's got some Twitch chat, some fun included. So I've included a little list here of any commands you guys want to type in, and it should all work. If you guys want to type, exclamation mark, red, I'll turn the whole thing red, bigger, slower, smaller, faster, whatever you guys want. This is like, anarchy. Feel free to mess it up. Feel free to have fun. You can also spam commands if you do something like, I'll show you an example. Do bigger space, bigger again, it'll get twice as big. So have some fun with that. So let's talk about how this happened, how we made this possible. So there's a Python Twitch chat plugin designed by IHQ, which is Interactive Immersive HQ, and they designed basically a WebSocket that plugs into Twitch chat, which runs on IRC, Internet Relay Chat, and you can basically choose in this box whatever channel you want to plug into. You need an authentication token from your own Twitch account, which we can give instructions on how to get. And we've hidden it here for stream purposes, and I can teach you guys how to do that too. But all you have to do is plug in the channel name and then reset the WebSocket, and you can pull the chat in from any Twitch channel out there. So this can be random people's channels, and it's just reading the Twitch chat that's running through there. So what this is doing is over here on this screen. This is basically a collection of an operator type that Nick hasn't touched on yet, and I will touch on super quickly. It's the DAT type, which is kind of similar to chops in terms of data, but it has some different kind of I don't know, I guess components inside. So Touch Designer and Python are pretty they're pretty like intercorrelated. Like most things you can do in Touch Designer can be controlled with Python somewhere, right? So what this node network is doing is it's basically just a collection of Python files, and it's all in these text dat component or operators. So if you spawn a text dat, all you have to do is right click, edit contents and text port, which I have open here, and you have this blank, text port, and you can work in here instead of an IDE, a developer environment, but it's nice to work in IDE and maybe port the Python here. But all you have to do is, just write some Python, and Touch Designer will be able to read it. So let me break down this network right here. The Twitch chat WebSocket is picking up the Twitch chat, and let me open this back up. Oops, there we go. So it is performing something called a callback, which is basically saying when the WebSocket receives a message, it's going to do something, right? So what I've told it to do is send that Twitch message to this operator right here. And in this operator, I parse that message, which is breaking down the username from the message itself. And what it's doing is it's looking for an exclamation mark in the beginning. And with that exclamation mark, it can identify things being a command. You can make this totally customized. You can make the command start with 1, 2, 3 if you want to. That's the beauty of Python. It's super flexible. And also, as a preface, I am relatively new to programming, and if any of you guys are new or like haven't started yet, I promise this is very accessible to beginners. I'm doing nothing really complex. It's just like some text manipulation here and there, and then a few basic Python stuff to tell these operators to talk to each other. It's very basic and super accessible to beginners. So the process of it is the Twitch message comes in here, gets sent over here, gets parsed into its different components, and then this is the system that I came up with that I think works well for our stream, and I would maybe recommend for your guys' stream if you guys want to try something like this. What this message is doing now, once it identifies what command you're using, it's going to look in this big file, right? And in this big file, we have a bunch of different commands written. And how these get here is this little plugin system. So each of these files is an independent Python file, essentially. In this form, they're just text stats, so they only exist inside Touch Designer. But you can also do a file in right here, and then reference this to a Python file on your computer, and it'll act the same way. So very versatile. But what this is doing is we have 3 unique text stats here with their own unique set of commands, and they're all getting plugged into this text merge operator. So this text merge just puts all the text together in one big list. So you can see that here. This is read only, which is why it's a little bit grayed out. But if you want to edit the contents here, you just right click, edit contents and text port, and then you can see you have your commands. So what's beautiful about this system is if you don't want people to have access to a certain set of commands, let's say circle's getting too big, right? And I want to stop people from being able to change the size, I can just disconnect, and that function is now disconnected. And if you type exclamation mark bigger or smaller, it no longer works. Also, let me double check the chat for questions. I kind of wasn't looking. Will we share the TOE files? Yeah, absolutely. We made these really simple things so we can share them with everybody. Nick, you think we'll plug them in the Control AV Discord?
Yeah, I think that's a
that
really
might be
really good place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually also drop a link to join the Discord as well in here if you guys want. it's and we'll probably be dropping the file in there afterwards. Yeah.
Right, right. And oh yeah, yeah. So creature creator trying to echo stuff, and Nick trying to print stuff. So the beauty about this system is you only have access to what features are written here. So the way that this socket works is it's looking for the command in this list, and if it's not there, it'll just return an error. So if you want to do some code injection stuff, you can try your hardest, but to my knowledge, it's not not too easy, especially for something like Twitch chat. So yeah, so you can unplug and plug back these little text stats, and you can add or remove functionality live. So it's kind of a system that I like to use in our main thing. So over here on the right, you can see the Twitch chat commands on the screen. I have something. I have this live. Oops, where are you in the network? Here you are. I have this text top here, which, if you remember, top is like the texture operator, the 2D one. And what this is doing is this is looking for the operator chat exec method table, which is right here. So it's looking for this table, which is inside here, and it's just returning the results. So what's really cool about Touch Designer is all of these parameters, no matter what kind of operator they are, they usually have some kind of Python component. So you see these 4 squares right here. The gray would mean just like a normal like slider controlled thing. If you switch it to here, it turns into a Python expression. You can also do like exports and binds, which we're not going to touch this lesson, but we can talk about definitely in a future stream. But if you were to go into the expression of a parameter, I'll find a little bit more fun. Let me see if I can find a better. We'll do this. So controlling this opacity, right? You can just change this to be a Python expression referring to maybe an LFO over here, or something else in your network. I will do that at the end because I'm going to save this this opacity thing for something I'm going to show you really quick in here. So coming back here, we know how the flow of it works. The chat comes in, gets parsed, the command gets looked up here, and then it gets executed. I'm going to show you the commands super quick. They're really simple. So the faster command, all that's doing is this is an operator reference. So the breakdown of this is op, and then the location and name of that operator, and then looking at the parameter, which is called frequency, and then the value, and it adds 0.5. It's pretty simple, and I'll show you where that is. So // means it's like above, right? Because if we are inside this network, we'll see our directory is up here. We need to go up 1 level. So that's, the computer speak for that would be //. And then we're looking for LFO1. It's right here. And then we're looking for the parameter called frequency, which we can see right here, .val plus 0.05. So if I type faster, paste it a few times, boom, see, it went up however many times I just typed that in, times 0.5. You can change this on the fly as well. I can make this, 0.8. And then if I type faster in chat and hit it, oh, I got to save that. My bad. Really quick. Faster. It should go up by, 0.16, and it did. Or 1.6, I mean. So these are super easy to control, super easy to change. I can go in here and like tweak the frequency down again live. Very, very modular and flexible system. And so these are how to do Twitch chat commands inside Python using this kind of configuration. One other way you can do it is by using buttons. You see here we have a button right here, and if you are in the network in Touch Designer and you click this button, it will do something, right? And you can tell it what to do. So what this button is doing is we have it set to momentary press, which means as you're pressing it and releasing it, it kind of acts like a keyboard button, right? Like it goes in and then you let go, it goes out. You can change that in the parameters and mess around with whatever you like, but this is the architecture we're going to use. So I've attached it to a null. The null is going to reflect the value of this, which is basically binary, right? So clicking means on, letting go means 0. From this null, we can attach something called a chop exec. And what a chop exec is, it's basically saying we have these few functions, and if one of these things happens, we will run the code inside that function. So I have here on off to on. So what that's looking for is anytime this goes from the value of 1 to the value of 0, which is when it's, or sorry, 0 to 1, which, is occurs when you click this button, it will run this code. And what this code is doing basically is it's looking for all chat commands update method table. And where that is written is right here. And all this is doing is it is live updating the Twitch commands that you can see here on the right. So if I was to unplug, let's say, circle size, boom, it updates instantly. So I have it auto updating. It's looking for changes here and doing that. But this button will also simulate that. So if I make changes to the table itself, which I can do super easily, let's say I do blah, 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 and it's reflected out here. I just press this button and then it updates, corrects. So what's beautiful about buttons is besides you being able to just click them in Touch Designer, is you can make them clickable by chat. So I'm going to make 2 buttons here. I'm going to call this trails on and trails off. And these 2 words will be exactly what you guys are going to type in chat, followed by an exclamation mark. So what we're going to do here is we are going to tie these buttons to something out here to, whatever we want. It's super flexible. And I'm going to target this opacity here, which kind of turns trails on and turns them off, So in order to do that, I'm going to attach a null to each. For the same reason I said earlier, it kind of, it shows whether the button is being pressed or not. I'm going to change each button to momentary. And then we can see here, if we press this little plus button, you can access the data inside versus if you're just clicking it, it'll show you the parameters. So I'm going to press this plus button to reveal both buttons. If you're pressing, each, it'll show that showing some kind of binary data. And then I'm going to attach a chop exec to each of these. That'll be right here. And in order to reference it, I just need to open up the parameters here. And it's going to be looking for a chop. All I'm going to do is drop this in here, chop reference. Actually, for this specific example, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to type in the name of it. Yeah, so see, it creates this little like soft link, which is different than this. This soft link is more like a reference inside somewhere in the parameters. So I'm going to do the same down here for null 3. And now we have 2 chop execs that are linked to these. So now, in order to make something happen, all I have to do is open up each of these in the text port. I'm going to use the off to on function again, like I explained earlier. I'm also going to activate that right here in the off to on, just to enable that callback. You can turn these off as well. So in this right here, I'm going to say, I want to target this parameter out here in the network. So I'm going to say op for operator dot slash, because I know it's in the above network. This one's called level 1. And then I want to target the opacity parameter right here. So parameter dot opacity, can't type today, dot val, and then I'm going to say equals 1, or we'll say 0.99, because that's going to give you some trails. And then I'm going to edit this one, kind of say a super similar argument, except we're just going to make that 0 instead of 99. And if I press these, yep, we see that it's working over here. So if I press this one, it'll make it 99. If I press that one, it makes it 0. And both of these functions are now accessible through Twitch chat. So if you guys want to turn trails on or off, feel free to do that now. And how that works is, I'll show you right here. So we're going to go back in the text port, show you where that magic is. So at the very beginning, in the same node that we're parsing the messages, it's telling it to look for the commands in this big merge, right? There is an else statement here that says if you can't find the command in this big merge, we're going to try to click the name of that command. And what that's going to do is it's going to click a button somewhere in this network. That's that command name. So whatever you name these will be your new command. So you can do trails on, trails off, whatever you want to do. And yeah, that's 2 super quick, easy chat commands written in. You could do pretty much the same thing in the Python. It's super flexible. And yeah, that I think just about wraps up the Twitch chat integration into Touch Designer. Super fun because you can really just control any of these parameters with Twitch chat by just referencing them through this WebSocket relay. Super fun. You can turn things on and off. You can make things go crazy. You can give chat the ability to destroy your network, destroy your work if you want, or you can have them build something awesome. So it's a super fun integration. Touch Designer makes it super easy. The Python's not too hard, and yeah, it's just about it.
Yeah,
Anything else you guys had questions about, or Nick, did you have any questions, comments?
no, thank you for that that walkthrough. You've you're like a genius when it comes to this stuff. I can't even compare. Um,
Flatter me, Nick.
I so hopefully I think that thank you, Emma. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think
Thank
I
you.
hope that at the very least this gives you guys an idea of the flexibility or like the kind of potential that a tool like Touch Designer has um, to be able to make some really cool, really interactive things that you can incorporate in so many different contexts, whether it be performances, educational things, or really anything else. Um, uh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link our Discord one more time for anybody who's new, who just joined. If you want to join this Discord, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's called Control AV. A lot of good people in there, artists, technologists, all like sharing knowledge, collaborating, um, and it's just a really great place. If you want to see some of this stuff in more action, I'm also gonna drop my own Twitch channel in the chat here. Myself and Snippy have been working really hard the past couple of weeks in making a framework within Touch Designer for like a full music performance streaming setup that has it's like chock full of fun interactive like little games to play and like visuals. I really love the idea of the audience becoming like a part of the performance. And so whenever I'm performing my own music or DJing, I we've been building a lot of really fun uh Twitch commands and stuff to really kind of like bridge that gap. So I'm gonna drop my own channel in the chat as well, in case anybody's interested. Um, but besides that, just uh, oh, Creature Creator is now following. Thank you, Creature Creator, for the follow. um, all right, one question. I want to hear each of your personal favorite effects, like one that you've set as a chat command. Hmm. That's a really good question, Mr. Maximum. Thank you for that question. Huh. I
Hmm.
think my favorite one would be would be our Valentine's Day effect, Snippy.
Oh man. Ooh, for context on that one, we set up a little like a little matchmaker game on Valentine's Day where people could enter in and then they were paired up and asked a live question on screen in Touch Designer. And it was a total mess.
Do you want to tell them how it broke?
So it broke in a lot of ways actually. It was really funny. So I was remoted into Nick's computer, kind of like I am right now. Oh, by the way, we're using any desk to remote in.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that if you guys want to, work together with anybody on one computer. So I was remoted in the back door in his Touch Designer file while he was streaming, and we needed people to enter into the pool, the dating pool, quote unquote, by voting on one of our polls, and we only had like 2 people vote. So I had to manually find the table where I had all the usernames stored, and I was looking at Twitch chat and typing in like usernames like live while I was like while Nick was streaming, and it was a mess, but it worked out. It was funny, we had some laughs.
Still better than
My
Bumble, still better than Tinder. Oh man. That's not a
Heck
very high
yeah.
bar. That's not a very high a bar, Emma, I'm gonna say. But I appreciate that.
My favorite might be something that we call Rorschach.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
it takes the background of an extreme and it turns it into like a live rendered Rorschach, and you can enter what you see and the text will appear on that Rorschach and kind of blend in. And then if you type in another command, it makes everything kind of go rainbow and crazy. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. I think it still looks pretty cool and pretty fun to work with. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's like all of those commands have all effects and stuff have all just been building on top of each other. So it gets to be like chaos sometimes, but it's fun.
right,
There's a lot of stuff like
right.
that. Um um Equivalent of getting a random sugar daddy Instagram DM. That's what I'm striving for, at least.
Yeah, I think
That's the goal for me. If
yeah,
um
a lot of us wouldn't mind a message like that, I'm sure.
can I use the Rorschach effect during the next stream? That sounds awesome. Of course, Mr. Maximum. Right now there's a weekly schedule of every because you're dudes. That's a fair point. Um, uh, uh, yes, Mr. Maximum, you can use the Rorschach effect. I'm on Sunday nights, and with some other streams sprinkled in here and there, but mostly every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central. Um, so yeah, it's coming up on an hour actually. So I feel like it's probably around time to wrap it up here. What do you think, Snippy?
Yeah, yeah, I think we made pretty solid timing with this whole thing.
Yeah, I think
Does
so.
anybody have any last minute questions or anything like that? If not, we might yeah, yeah. King Johan's one of our mods, so if
Yes.
you guys wanna come by Tiwanku's stream, you can break our touch designer. Rorschach has a feature, that rainbow spin feature where it can be spammed to the point where it breaks touch designer, and
Yeah, we gotta
we
fix that. Yeah.
definitely gotta set a limit on that.
um,
But yeah, you guys should definitely come by and mess with our files.
what I'm gonna do is what I'm gonna do to kind of wrap this up here, I'm actually going to send you all to another channel called Patchy Projects. He has a really amazing project happening right now, where he is making a little mushroom Zen garden, and he's using a lot of the um, same exact tools that we have been showing today to create this like wonderful forest world where you get to create your own mushroom and customize your mushroom and like talk to the other mushrooms in there. It's wholesome, it's amazing. So I'm gonna send us over there to kind of wrap it up. Um, but
Yeah, thank
but
you all for coming. Really appreciate it.
yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. We might be back for some actual performances at some point, or for more informational things. Um, um, we'll see what happens. But again, feel free to reach out to either one of us. Feel free to join the Discord. Um, and yeah, I want to stay in touch and keep this community of people doing audiovisual interactive stuff as strong as possible. Um, so, thank you all again, um, and be sure to go and plant a mushroom. Uh, not
Yeah,
sure
thank you guys.
exactly what is happening. There's usually like a button that says start raid, but I think we might need to wait until it gets to the bottom here. But it'll go in a second. But But yeah. Oh, also, there's a for anybody who's like a fan of synthesizers and stuff. Also check this out. It's a synthesizer festival on Twitch happening. Super cool. Just check it out. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you won't regret it. Um, I've been I've been I've been watching, and they have Beardy Man performing on Sunday. So yeah, I think we're probably gonna head out right now. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yo,
Yo.
yo.
Dude,
Good
is he
stream, man.
what is he Patchy just
DJing?
no, that's not him. That's Subset. I'm not sure. I think he has Subset on in the background. I see. I don't know what that is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Interesting, interesting.
It's a stream
Anyways,
in a stream.
yeah, I'm gonna stop streaming from Control AV,
Hmm.
and then we'll debrief for
Yep.
just a second.